From WQAD, this is News 8's Good Morning Quad Cities.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome. It is Wednesday, April 6th. I'm Jonathan Ketz.
And I'm Julie Sisk. It was a stormy night.
Yeah.
Heard the thunder and some rain coming down as well.
I certainly woke up to that earlier this morning. I was going to say, Eric, you woke up to it as
Yep.
well. It's probably about, what, 1:30 in the morning?
Yeah, it was about 1 to 2 a.m. that it moved across the area from southwest to northeast, but it really didn't have any heavy rain. We didn't have any threat of severe weather, just enough instability aloft that we produced some big boomers, quite a few lightning strikes outside. You can see where the temperatures are now. I've overlaid not only the storm tracker for the radar, but where the temperatures are to kind of give you an idea of the showers. Cool rain coming down here through parts of Carroll County where you see temperatures are only around 42 degrees. About 48, Galesburg to Monmouth and over toward Burlington and down toward Macomb, you're 51 degrees. So it's going to be chilly outside here early this morning, no question about that. In fact, temperatures probably aren't going to warm up until maybe we get into the afternoon, and that's if we get some sunshine. So wet roads for the morning commute, temperatures in the 40s and will remain fairly dreary as we head into the afternoon. Consider yourself lucky if we see some sunshine. We'll talk more about the sunny days ahead in a few minutes.
Eric, thank you. The results are still coming in this morning for the Wisconsin primary, with Ted Cruz and Bernie Sanders as the projected winners. We have your voice, your vote coverage right here on Good Morning Quad Cities, with 99% of precincts reporting Ted Cruz wins with nearly half of the vote at 48%. Donald Trump trails Cruz at 35%. Ohio Governor John Kasich received less than a quarter of the vote with just 14% last night. 42 delegates were up for grabs. On the Democratic side, Bernie Sanders leads in the Badger State with 56% of the vote over Hillary Clinton's 43%. 86 delegates were up for grabs between the two candidates.
Bettendorf City Council is looking for ways to expand the city, and that could include an area near 53rd Avenue's roundabout. At last night's council meeting, it met to discuss the potential changes to the land. That area that intersects with Middle Road is still considered residential, with new development still in the works. But there is some space for businesses to move in, and that's why the City Council wants to rezone some of the space as commercial. Some homeowners say they like being separated from the rest of the city, but they also understand that growth is needed in that area.
I mean, I guess we'd have to see what it's going to be like. I mean, I can see it's probably inevitable because everything is coming out this way. I think if they kept the traffic down and everything, it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
City Council will vote on the proposal at its next meeting next week. Galesburg leaders are also trying to grow the city with a new housing development project. The project will feature townhomes and houses. It's the first housing subdivision in 2 decades for Galesburg. City is helping to pay for about a third of the project, costing about $1 million. Construction is set to begin in August. The first 4 homes should be ready in about a year. Well, today, Davenport City Council members will hear about a revised transportation plan that better fits the needs of the community.
Complaints about the previous proposed plan prompted the city to make some changes. And News 8's Caroline Reinwald joins us now live in Davenport to tell us about those revisions that will hopefully make riding the bus a little bit easier. Caroline.
Jonathan, there are going to be a lot more bus hubs like this one in downtown Davenport throughout the city once this new plan is passed. Now, back in December, when the new transportation plan was proposed, then Mayor Gluba and a couple hundred concerned community members were worried about the changes, thought that they wouldn't fit their needs. Now, City Council still passed that plan, but also made some changes along the way. They've added more bus routes, additional safe pedestrian areas with shelters and crosswalks, and created more bus hubs throughout the city. And the new grid system will reportedly save the city about $200,000 the first year and more than $500,000 each year after that.
Routes can always be changed, and they are changed on a regular basis. The idea here is to get the framework of the new system in place. And once that framework's in place, we can always make tweaks to the plan along the way.
And the Committee of the Whole meeting will address those changes tonight, and City Council will put those changes to a vote next Wednesday. Back to you, Jonathan.
Caroline, thank you. If approved, the new transportation plan will go into effect by the end of July.
A new construction project is causing delays for anyone using I-80 in Henry County. Crews began the process of replacing the bridge over the Rock River. Construction zone is at south of the I-88 interchange and north of the Kelowna exit. Crews have created a crossover so they can close one lane in each direction. That project is expected to last until November of next year. Later this week, the city of Burlington is hoping to get more input on the first phase of its downtown Mississippi Riverfront plan. Tomorrow night at 6:30, the Planning Commission will present its design plans for the project at City Hall. Monday, a special session was held where people could provide feedback. City was awarded over $26 million from the state for flood mitigation work. Officials say they want to build permanent and removable flood walls, as well as have water pumping stations. All of this will happen in 4 stages, with the first one expected to be done next year.
Tomorrow night, the Scott County Board of Supervisors will vote on whether to help buy body cameras and other equipment for the county sheriff's office. The sheriff's office is asking for $300,000 to get 24 in-car cameras, 3 interview cameras, and 75 body cameras. Some of the money would come from forfeiture funds, cash that's collected in past crimes. Scott County Sheriff says the cameras offer transparency with the public,
so that they can see that they're not just hearing one side of the story, they can see both sides of the story through a recording that documents what actually happens, as opposed to what people think happened or what people made up as to what may have happened.
Body cameras last about 5 years, and in-car cameras can last for 8 years.
This morning, police are investigating a crash between a car and a bus full of Scott County students. It happened yesterday afternoon at the intersection of South 4th Avenue and East LeClaire Road in Eldridge, just blocks away from North Scott High School. Police and fire and emergency responders were all on scene. The superintendent for the North Scott School District says the students and the bus driver are okay. The driver of the car, though, was injured. About 30 junior high and high school students were on the bus at the time.
Right now, our concern is really just our students, making sure they get with their parents know what happened, and that we had no injuries, and we take care of everybody who needs to be taken care of.
The students were taken home on a different bus. Some parents did show up at the scene to pick up their children.
Well, still ahead right here on Good Morning Quad City's plans pulled. The new law in North Carolina that has PayPal choosing not to build a new center in the state.
And costly improvement. How much Iowa is set aside to try to fix the water quality in the state.
We are tracking